Welcome to Game News for May 17th, 2013. I'm your host... I'm not Mike. I'm your host, Chris.
Oh, no.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and this is Grover.
Hello.
And this is Mike.
Hello. To continue the report of Patrice Désilets being forcibly removed from Ubisoft last week, the project he was on, called 1666, has been suspended due to that whole situation. And again, no one knows anything about that project other than the fact that it's what caused the rift between Ubisoft and Désilets in the first place.
Mysterious. Nintendo has won an appeal against the court ruling that Motiva had patents for technology they had shown to Nintendo that Nintendo later used for the Wii. The lawsuit has been broiling since 2008, and the recent ruling against Nintendo due to the evidence at first seemed to be a blow. But Nintendo's lawyers moved to prove in the appeals case that Motiva wasn't getting anywhere with their project, nor the encouraging adoption of Motiva's technology that usually comes from these sort of things, but instead targeted solely for financial gains. And Nintendo also has officially made other new plans. Nintendo will likely not block any video on sites like YouTube any longer, but it will instead force the monetizing of any such videos back to Nintendo itself instead. While this means little to the average viewer or small groups like us at PrinnyCast, to major Let's Play style gamers who post their gameplays and speedruns and more online, any of the money that they might have seen from their labels will go to Nintendo instead of themselves, regardless of how successful their video is. Honestly, I can kind of see Nintendo's stance here, but at the same time, this sounds so horribly corporate again. Better than the recent things that companies like Sega and, of course, Square Enix has been doing lately, but still. The quote is, "We continually want our fans to enjoy sharing Nintendo content on YouTube, and that is why, unlike other companies, we have chosen not to block people using our intellectual property." Meanwhile, Microsoft had a busy week as they recently announced the Windows 8.1 update that is rumored to include the return of the classic Start button. Why they would ever take that out, I don't know. As well as the boot to desktop options so users can completely skip the Metro interface if they choose to. And probably just as big of an announcement, Microsoft Points will be on the way out very soon, replacing its long-standing virtual currency with real-world currency that will use a gift card system reminiscent of Apple's iTunes codes, as well as transactions with credit and debit cards. This is not to be confused with the Microsoft Gamer Scores. Those are staying around. But the system is to be announced more fully at next month's E3 convention and intended to be implemented before the launch of that mysterious next-gen Xbox. Also, relatedly, Twitch TV, the streaming source that caters exclusively to the gaming market, announced that a special app that will allow Xbox Live Gold users to view the top 300 streams straight to their console. And this is also only available in the US. And just hours ago, there was word that a smaller and denser Xbox was going to be announced at the next-gen Xbox reveal next week, meaning a now third revision for the Xbox 360 to make it even cheaper.
The New York Times reports that founder of U.S. hedge fund Third Point and billionaire Daniel Loeb, owner of a not inconsiderable amount of Sony stock, sent a personal letter to Sony President Kaz suggesting that the company split off its entertainment division so both companies could thrive. This would especially benefit the entertainment division as it would make the company's debt more manageable and allow more funds to be placed where they were needed within the entertainment division. Just for those wondering, the entertainment division includes the Sony Music label, Sony Film Studio, and of course, the Sony PlayStation brand. Loeb made major news last year when he called for Yahoo's chief executive Scott Thompson to step down when it was discovered that he had lied about a computer science degree he didn't actually have.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thompson eventually left Yahoo over that scandal.
Yahoo! And I haven't heard about this for some reason, but graphics chip giant NVIDIA released lots of new information for the NVIDIA Shield, an Android-powered portable system running on the Tegra processors that will launch at the end of June for a sizable $350, and is open for pre-orders this week as well. A good number of games are already on the way, including a list of notable titles. Plus, it has a special PC streaming beta system for you to stream your PC games right to your system.
So you can stream while you stream.
Yeah. And now for a bunch of various Electronic Arts stories. They have gone on to record to say that they don't have a single game in development for the troubled Nintendo Wii U. This is not to say EA has abandoned Nintendo, as a while back when the Wii U was announced, there was a lot of praise for the system. But now things seem very different, as only 4 games have been released on the Wii in the last 9 months. And a particularly scathing Twitter just came out just a few hours ago as well from an EA employee. And they've also brought on board New York Times executive Denise Warren to the board of directors, and will also sit on their audit committee. She will be replacing Gregory Maffei, who left after a year or so on the board, who's been a director at over 160 other groups like SiriusXM, DirecTV, and is still president and CEO of Liberty Media Corporation. Oh my, entirely too many still shots on our window back there, our news window lately, so let's roll something with motion to it. Whee! Much better.
Wow, that's
Okay.
amazing.
And just as rumors predicted last week over the partnership between Disney and EA has announced an LA branch of the DICE developer to begin work on the Star Wars games. It looks to fill about 60 positions there before the end of the year, hoping to even draw some employees away from rival Call of Duty creators Infinity Ward and Treyarch. So it sounds like the equivalent of Star Wars Battlefront 3 will indeed be a reality in the coming years.
And Vivendi once again is shopping its options around to sell off their 61% share of Activision Blizzard. They did this about this time last year, and while they had interested buyers, which included Disney, Time Warner, Microsoft, and Chinese group Tencent, no one actually made an official offer. Vivendi stock is currently valued at just over $8 billion. EB.
Yeah, I can see why they were having trouble selling it.
Yeah.
Tryon World's MMORPG. Massively multiplayer online role-playing game, yes. Rift will become free-to-play starting June 12th when it updates to 2.3 with Imperial Assault with a Y. Why? I don't know. And that includes a new zone, events, and other content. And like World of Warcraft, you could play free till level 20 for over a year now, but this new system will bring the entirety of the game to players, using microtransactions only for boost items and mounts rather than the premium accounts that other free-to-play MMOs typically use. And once again, in a late-breaking story, Triumph has confirmed sources who spoke to IGN earlier that layoffs were indeed happening. It's not the 80% of the developers some reports have stated, but it is apparently a sizable amount. There's not been any comments exactly how many and what that's going to affect.
Do you guys remember Star Citizen? Well, it's got friends now that are also joining this Kickstarter thing. Shadow of Eternals is a first-cursors game. There's a kid trying to come in my room right now.
Okay.
Shadow of Eternals is precursor game's most anticipated spiritual success to the Eternal Darkness that Nintendo horror fans have been waiting years for. And now, like Star Citizen, it is going beyond its own crowdfunding page that I haven't looked at and I have no clue how much it's made so far, and it is now joining Kickstarter to acquire some extra funding. If all goes well, the game is intended to release in 2014 in an episodic system for PC and Wii U.
Funny how many are doing the episodic things.
I think it's fine. I mean,
unless
you're Valve and you can't count 3, but other than that.
And Todd M. Miller, the man suspected as part of 2008's PlayStation Network hack, has been sentenced for obstruction after smashing his computers to hide the evidence.
Oh, wow. I'd rather get arrested for obstruction than cyber terrorism.
Without the computers, the FBI didn't have enough to charge him, or the other Columbus, Ohio suspect. He's been sentenced to 3 years probation and mandated that the 23-year-old get a high school equivalency diploma. This is the much smaller 2008 hack, and not to be confused with the 2011 hack that took down the PlayStation Network for over a month and completely compromised over 75 million members' personal information.
Oh,
I think you remember that one.
Yep, I got free games out of that.
In related news, 4 British hackers known as Lulzsec, a splinter from Anonymous, has been charged and sentenced for their roles in a number of attacks over the course of 50 days in 2011 against companies small and large, including Nintendo and Sony, among many others. All 4 will serve roughly 2 years for their roles, as well as an Australian member and a U.S. member have also been arrested but not yet charged, though it was because of the FBI arresting the American member that helped catch the others as part of the bargain plea.
2 years is not bad for what they did. Not bad at all.
According to a study by members across 3 different universities,
Science!
173 different pirated games off of BitTorrent were analyzed over a 3-month period. Their study found that the games pirated the most were actually related to how high their score was on Metacritic. More importantly, the study clashed with statements made by the likes of the ESA, saying those studies likely intentionally overestimate piracy due to their interest to see piracy reduced. And while the study does agree that pirating is extraordinarily prevalent, quote, however, the numbers in our investigation suggest that previously reported magnitudes in game piracy are too high. It also appears that some common myths are wrong. For example, that it is only shooters that get pirated, as we see a lot of activity for children's and family games on BitTorrent for the period that we investigated.
So is it mom and dad stealing the games instead of the teenagers?
Yeah.
Who knew?
You are a pirate! University of Texas, more universities, will be offering a new gaming post-baccalaureate certification program starting fall of 2014. Why so far, I don't know. But anyway, the 12-month program is to be headed up by Deus Ex and Thief legendary creator Warren Spector, with one of the coolest names ever, and Blizzard's president Paul Simon. It's not Paul Simon. That's a music writer. Try again. Blizzard's president Paul Sams, and will be an intense personal course that will only accept 20 students. That's not science.
Speaking of Warren Spector, he was in the news last week when on Facebook he responded to the news of the new Wolfenstein trailer with, and I quote, "Did the world really need another Wolfenstein game? Did we need a generically dark, monochromatic, FPS, kill the Nazi giant robot game? No. The world did not. I am so tired of stuff like this. Oh, and could we all just agree we'll never use the generic, gravelly whisper trailer voice guy ever again?
Oh, come on.
And one more thing. Please stop using Jimi Hendrix to promote your adolescent male power fantasies." I'm assuming this comes from bitterness over his Mickey Mouse games.
Could be.
They weren't adolescent male power fantasy enough to sell very well. You know, whatever.
Yep.
He apologized the same day, saying that he respected the dev team. He is just tired of seeing wasted talent on generic and uninnovative games in the mainstream medium. Kind of agree with him,
Yeah.
not the way he put it.
Kickstarter news continues media juice as they also launched a Kickstarter to help sell the deal on their independent documentary video games The Movie. It features interviews with the devs, executives, and celebrities, included the likes of Atari founder Nolan Bushnell, David Crane, and actor Will Wheaton. Shut up, Wesley! And also flamboyant Street Fighter 4 creator Yoshinori Ono, and that Warren Spector guy.
He's getting around.
Extended goals for the Kickstarter includes potential for famous names attached to the narration and to make an offer to Daft Punk to score it.
Good luck with the latter.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take them to make an album? Oh wait, they haven't, except for the soundtrack to Tron. Never mind.
Former THQ president Jason Rubin made some controversial claims about 4A Games, which is the Ukrainian studio that created Metro Last Light, which just released just this week. These claims include a minuscule budget that kept the studio from being on a level field with other developers, and harsh conditions such as smuggling high-end equipment from the United States to keep up with the workflow, struggling with heater breakdowns that had the team working in below freezing temperatures for weeks at a time. That does not sound very comfortable. And all of this with little recognition, since publisher Deep Silver did not actually put 4A Games logo on the cover.
Oh.
That would be a big no-no in my book. Rubin went on to applaud the developer for their passion and loyalty to their team and to the game. And the developer's creative director, Andrew Prokhorov, responded with some thanks for the statements that Rubin made. He went on to say that he doesn't blame Rubin for THQ's bankruptcy, nor blame Deep Silver for what was ultimately a slip-up at crunch time. He also said that while conditions aren't great at 4A, there's nothing to get dramatic about, and that they believe Metro Last Light's scores were deserved because of the game's merits, and shouldn't have anything to do with them being some sort of industry underdog. And here's a direct quote from him. "After all, the final consumer doesn't care about our conditions, and this is right. We need no indulgence."
Oh, good for them.
So, very, very high integrity statement.
In an industry filled with egos.
Yes, it's very, very refreshing
To the
to
brim,
see.
spilling over.
And now for rapid fires button mash time. Namco Bandai announced that Pac-Man is making a comeback as a new game for the PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii U, and a side-scroller version for the 3DS. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures is actually based around the CG cartoon of the same name that will air on Disney XD later this year. Nintendo snuck out some new information for Pokemon fans, as Pokemon X and Y will be set in Kalos, I think is how you say that, an entirely new region of the Pokemon universe, as well as unveiling some of the new Pokemon, including the Go-Goat, which is the first Pokemon ever that a player could actually ride. It's a mount in a Pokemon game. Mind blown! And this is already on top of the first time that a main Pokemon title will be rendered largely in 3D. Capcom also confirmed that Ace Attorney 5 will indeed be hitting to North America and Europe come fall with the official title of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, and will be sold only through the 3DS's eShop. Like the new Pokemon, this is also the first time Phoenix Wright will be rendered largely or entirely in 3D.
Homebrew developer Eric Roof of Roof Games, the guy behind games like Pixel Force, Left 4 Dead, and Mega Man Rocks, among others, is on the Indiegogo, the crowdsourcing site similar to Kickstarter, to get a combo side-scrolling beat-em-up in League of Legends style MOBA called Hauntling to get it going.
And Team Fortress 2 released the first community-made update entitled Robotic Boogaloo, and adds 50 new items and and everything made entirely by the fans, even up to the animated short and splash images for the Steam store. And for the first time, all of the creators have also decided to share revenue on the RoboCrate keys, so everyone who contributed will make a profit, not just the people who made the hats, according to Valve. And GameSpot announced that they partnered up with Konami to live stream the E3 pre-show starting the morning of June 6th. Man, that's getting really close. And will include a special look inside Metal Gear Solid 5 and Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. This E3 also marks the first time a gaming company's online news event will be promoted in a nationwide television ad campaign through CBS. Though it should be noted that CBS also owns GameSpot these days as well. And to swap two letters for a completely different company from GameSpot to GameStop, Steve Nix has left his post as GameStop General Manager of Digital Distribution. GameStop's digital sales are at an all-time high, skyrocketing 60% by the end of March after having a very sour winter. But Nix has decided to move on from his position of 2 years for new ground at Dallas Venture Partners, where he claims he's far from out of the gaming medium.
Animator and funny man Pendleton Ward and developer WayForward are teaming up once again to create Adventure Time. Explore the dungeon because I don't know! It was announced to launch later this year on Wii U, PC, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the 3DS, and I will probably definitely be picking this one up as well. The same announcement from D3 also said that two other Cartoon Network favorites, Ben 10 and The Regular Show, will also see new games this year.
After an accidental early release of Green Man Gaming, EA confirmed shortly after its removal that an amusement park DLC was indeed coming to the SimCity reboot on May 28th and will include all sorts of park rides that customers are park. Oh boy.
Bunch of amusement park pieces. How about that?
Hopefully they don't do like the tourist attractions and turn all your damn commercial into hotels.
And the trailer for Joss Whedon's new Marvel TV series that ties into the Avengers universe, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., released a trailer this week, is to premiere on ABC this fall, and Metal Gear Rising Revengeance will be heading to the PC. A new Wii U and 3DS exclusive Sonic game is also on its way as part of a continuing partnership between 1990s rivals Sega and Nintendo, and a gorgeous action, and the gorgeous indie action title Dust and Elysian Tale will launch next Saturday on the 25th on Steam, according to the Steam game listings. And lastly, Amazon is offering a massive sales for downloadable PC games that is chock full of deals. Bastion for under $4, BioShock 1 and 2 dual pack for $5, Fable 3 with all its DLC for $10, Batman with both Arkham games for $11.50, Mass Effect 3 for $6, and so much more. Just take a gander at that list right behind us, or head on over to Amazon yourself for some Steam-style bundles and deals. And somehow I don't think this show was as funny as it has been, but oh well, that is game news for May 17th, 2013.
Alrighty then.
Oh, goodbye. We did this last time, I think, too.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Goodbye.